Bismillah, my dear brothers and sisters, in the world we live in today, the unseen forces are more active than ever before. You feel heaviness in your chest, you can't sleep at night, you're constantly anxious, relationships break for no reason, your rizq feels blocked, and nothing seems to move forward. You've tried everything, medicine, therapy, even travel, and yet the darkness still lingers. This is not just coincidence. This is the unseen. This is Sihr. This is Hasad. This is the evil eye, envy, Jinn, black magic, forces that are real and mentioned by Allah Himself in the Qur'an. But let me tell you something today. Protection is easier than you think. Healing is closer than you imagine. You don't need to climb mountains. You don't need to pay thousands to some so-called healer. The most powerful Ruqyah is already in your hands. It's in your home. It's in your mouth. It's in the Qur'an. And the one who cures is not the Ruqyah itself. It is Ar-Rahman, Ash-Shafi, the one who heals all wounds, seen and unseen. Start with sincerity. Clean your heart. Make tawbah. Sin weakens the spiritual shield. If your shield is cracked, the arrows of Sihr and Hasad will find their way through. Your protection begins with your connection to Allah, the one who prays Fajr on time, the one who recites their adhkar, the one who sleeps upon wudu. They are guarded. Angels surround them. Devils cannot harm them. So what is the easiest Ruqyah? It's not complicated. It doesn't need 100 verses or exotic rituals. The easiest Ruqyah is the most powerful weapon you already know. Surah Al-Fatiha. Recite it 7 times over water. Blow into it. Drink it. Wash your face with it. Watch how the heaviness lifts. Watch how clarity returns. Al-Fatiha is Shifa, a cure for the heart, a cure for the body, a cure for the soul. Then comes Ayat al-Kursi. Recite it after every prayer. Recite it before sleep. It is a fortress. It is light. Shayateen cannot stand before it. This is not opinion. This is from the tongue of Rasulullah. Do you know what Ayat al-Kursi contains? It describes Allah's power, His dominion, His knowledge. When you proclaim His greatness, you invite His protection. That's the secret. Protection is not in the sound of the verse. It's in the belief behind it. It's in your heart as you say it. When you say it with conviction, you are wrapped in divine armor. The last 2 ayat of Surah Al-Baqarah, you know them. They're light. They're a shield. And if you recite them at night, they will suffice you. How many people struggle to sleep, suffer from nightmares, see shadows, hear whispers? Just try these verses. Recite them over yourself, your children, your home. The Prophet ﷺ didn't give these instructions randomly. He was teaching us survival. Add to that Surah Al-Ikhlas, Al-Falaq, and An-Nas. Recite them 3 times in the morning, 3 times in the evening. Recite them before sleeping. Blow into your hands. Wipe your body. This is your daily shield. This is not a one-time thing. This is your spiritual hygiene. Just as you shower to clean the body, you must recite to cleanse the soul. And don't forget Surah Al-Baqarah itself. Play it in your house, every 3 days. Even if you don't understand Arabic, Shayateen flee from the house where it's recited. Don't just play it, listen to it. Reflect on it, respect it. Let your walls absorb its light. Let your heart absorb its guidance. Sihr dies where Al-Baqarah lives. If you're feeling attacked, anxious, heavy, sick without reason, begin this now. Wake up for tahajjud. Call on Allah by His names. Make dua before Fajr. Be consistent. The devils are patient, but they cannot stand in the face of a believer who stands firm. You are not weak. You are not defeated. Your connection to Allah is your weapon, and the Qur'an is your sword. Do not rely on others to save you. Save yourself with Tawheed, with Yaqeen, with dhikr, with the words of Allah. Keep your tongue moist. Say La ilaha illa Allah with your heart. Say Hasbi Allah la ilaha illa huwa, and mean it. Say A'udhu bi kalimatillahi tammati min shari ma khalaq. Every evening. Protection is not far. It's not hidden. It's right here. You just have to believe and begin. In our modern world filled with distractions and physical causes for every problem, many people have forgotten the reality of the unseen. Yet the unseen is as real as the air we breathe. Sihr, Hasad, envy, Jinn and black magic are not myths or fairy tales. They are real forces that Allah and His Messenger warned us about. They are mentioned in the Qur'an and Hadith repeatedly, not as abstract concepts but as dangers to guard ourselves from. Many individuals suffer in silence from their effects. They go from doctor to doctor, seeking cures for illnesses that have no diagnosis. They experience sudden breakdowns in relationships, feel inexplicable fear and anxiety, suffer financial losses without reason, and lose motivation, joy and clarity in life. These symptoms are not always rooted in physical causes. Often they are signs of spiritual affliction. Sihr or black magic is a dangerous reality practiced by people with twisted hearts, working with jinn to harm others. It is an ancient evil, practiced in different cultures and still thriving today under modern disguises. Its effects can be devastating, causing separation between loved ones, mental confusion, nightmares, and even physical illness. Then there is Hasad, envy, a deadly spiritual poison. It is when someone sees a blessing you have, and wishes it be taken away, not necessarily by doing anything, but through intense negative energy rooted in jealousy and resentment. The evil eye or ain often comes from Hasad, and can strike even unintentionally. A person might admire your child, your home, or your success, but without saying MashaAllah, that gaze can cause harm, sickness, or sudden misfortune. It's a spiritual disease fueled by a heart not content with Allah's distribution of blessings. Jinn created from smokeless fire are another part of the unseen that many deny until they experience their interference. Some jinn are simply mischievous and seek to disturb. Others possess, harm or whisper doubts and fears into the hearts of people. In more severe cases, a person may feel controlled, hear voices, or lose memory and identity. These are not just symptoms of mental illness, they may be signs of jinn possession or attack. The Prophet ﷺ never dismissed these realities. In fact, he showed us how to protect ourselves from them in detail. Black magic, envy and jinn attacks are often silent, but their impact is deep. They can break families, destroy careers, cause depression, weaken iman, and lead a person into despair if they are not addressed. These are not to be feared more than Allah, but they are to be recognized and treated according to the guidance given in Islam. They are tests, and like all tests, they come with solutions. The first step to confronting these realities is acknowledgement. We cannot fight what we deny. Many people, even practicing Muslims, fall into the trap of blaming only the physical, the material. But when you see consistent patterns of harm, constant misfortune, unexplained illnesses, and recurring fear or darkness in your life, it is wise to look deeper. The Quran is a light that exposes the hidden and heals the broken. It does not just inform us about the unseen, it arms us against it. Our deen is not just for the visible world. Islam equips us with tools for both realms, the seen and the unseen. We must also understand that sihr and hasad do not discriminate. They can affect the pious and the sinful alike. Even the Prophet ﷺ was affected by sihr for a short period, and Allah revealed specific verses for his protection. If the most beloved of creation was targeted, who are we to think we are safe? This is not to instill fear, but to instill awareness. The people who practice magic, spread envy or summon jinn to harm others, may never show their intentions openly. They may smile at you, visit your home, praise your children, and still carry malice in their hearts. Their external appearance may not reflect the darkness they harbor inside. That's why protection must be constant. It must be proactive, not reactive. Ignoring these realities does not make you safe. It makes you vulnerable. The believer walks with awareness, not paranoia, but spiritual intelligence. They know that just as germs exist and must be guarded against with cleanliness, the unseen evils exist and must be guarded against with the spiritual prescriptions from the Qur'an and Sunnah. You are not weak for being afflicted. It is not a punishment, but a test. And with every test in Islam there is a means of success. The Quran is not just a book of stories, laws or history. It is the living speech of Allah, a source of healing, guidance, mercy, and light. Within it lies the cure for all diseases, physical, emotional, and spiritual. When we talk about Ruqyah, we are not referring to something external or foreign. Ruqyah is the act of using the Quran and specific supplications from the Sunnah for healing and protection. It is a form of worship, a demonstration of complete reliance on Allah, and it is accessible to every single believer. You do not need to be a scholar or an imam to perform it. You do not need elaborate rituals or specific clothing. What you need is certainty, yaqeen, in Allah's words and His promise to heal. The Quran itself tells us, and we send down in the Quran that which is a healing and a mercy for the believers. It does not say that the healing is for a select few. It is for every believer who turns to it sincerely. The most effective Ruqyah is the one you do for yourself. There is wisdom in this. When you seek healing through the Quran by reciting it yourself, by engaging with it directly, you build a deeper connection with your Lord. You are not outsourcing your protection. You are taking responsibility for your spiritual well-being, and in doing so, you strengthen your tawakkul. You place your trust not in people, but in the one who created people. When you recite verses like Al-Fatiha, Ayat al-Kursi, or the Muawwadhat, Surah Al-Ikhlas, Al-Falaq, and Nas, you are not just uttering words. You are invoking divine power. You are placing yourself beneath the shield of divine mercy and inviting the angels to guard you. There are people who spend their lives going from one raqi to another, spending money, looking for solutions in someone else's hands, when the most powerful Ruqyah is right there in their homes. The Quran on your shelf is not decoration. It is the sword you've never drawn. It is the light you've never turned on. When you recite the Quran with the intention of healing, it responds. The verses speak to your pain. The words sink deep into your soul. But it's not just about the recitation. It's about the heart that recites. You can repeat a verse 100 times, but if your heart is distracted, if your tongue is dry of sincerity, the effect will be limited. Ruqyah is most powerful when it comes from a heart full of belief, from a soul seeking refuge in its Creator alone. The beauty of this deen is that Allah made the path of healing simple and accessible. There is no barrier, no cost, no gatekeeper. You can do Ruqyah after Fajr, before Maghrib, before sleeping, or any time your heart feels the weight of the unseen pressing down on you. And you don't even need to be sick to do it. Ruqyah is not just for healing. It is for protection, for peace, for clarity, for grounding yourself in a chaotic world. The Prophet ﷺ made it a daily habit. He would recite over himself. He would recite over his family. He taught us to do the same. If you knew how much protection you were gaining from these simple actions, you would never skip them again. The easiest Ruqyah is found in consistency. It is not in complex formulas or rare verses. It is in the repeated heartfelt recitation of what you already know. Al-Fatiha, recited with intention, becomes a powerful force. Ayat al-Kursi, said before sleep, turns your night into a fortress. The three calls, recited in the morning and evening, act like spiritual armor. These are not random practices. They are prophetic prescriptions. They are gifts from the Messenger ﷺ to us, tools for survival in a world filled with unseen battles. You don't need to chase exotic Ruqyah methods. You need to master the basics. You need to approach the Quran with reverence, with humility, and with need. You need to believe in its power more than you believe in your pain. You need to expect healing, not doubt it. The Quran responds to the heart that seeks. It cures the heart that trusts. It protects the one who makes it a companion. And it elevates the one who relies on it, not just during times of hardship, but as a lifelong shield and remedy. When you internalize that the Quran is your first source of protection, not your last resort, then you'll begin to see its power unfold in your life in ways you never imagined. Surah Al-Fatiha is known as the opening, not just because it begins the Quran, but because it opens the doors of healing, guidance and mercy. It is the greatest surah in the Book of Allah. It is the essence of the Qur'an, the core of every salah, and the foundation of connection between the servant and the Creator. Within its 7 verses lie secrets that cure the heart, mind and body. When used with conviction as a form of Ruqyah, it becomes a powerful tool against Sihr, Hasad, envy, black magic, and the effects of Jinn. This surah is not a collection of poetic words. It is a divine formula gifted by the Lord of the worlds. Every verse strikes at the roots of spiritual illness. Every word is a light in the darkness of the unseen. When you recite Al-Fatiha 7 times over water, with intention, belief, and reliance upon Allah, that water transforms. It carries the vibration of the Qur'an, the healing words of Ar-Rahman. This is not superstition. This is practice rooted in the Sunnah. The companions of the Prophet ﷺ used Al-Fatiha as Ruqyah. They recited it over a man who was ill, and watched him recover immediately. When they informed the Prophet ﷺ, he affirmed their action, and called Al-Fatiha of Ruqyah. This shows that Al-Fatiha is more than a prayer. It is a cure. It speaks to every ailment, whether it hides in the body, in the heart, or in the unseen realm. When you recite it with presence, knowing that Allah is listening, that He is the one who cures, then that recitation becomes an act of surrender and healing at the same time. The structure of Al-Fatiha itself is unique. It begins with praise of Allah, acknowledging His mercy, His lordship, and His dominion over the Day of Judgment. When a person begins their Ruqyah, by acknowledging Allah's authority, they are declaring that all harm, no matter how hidden or deep, is under His control. They are recognizing that no magic, no envy, no darkness is greater than His light. This foundation is essential in healing. Without it, Ruqyah becomes a ritual. With it, Ruqyah becomes a powerful act of worship. Iyaka nabudu wa iyaka nasta'in. You alone we worship, and you alone we ask for help. This verse is the pivot of the surah. When a believer says these words, they are making a covenant. They are saying, I will not turn to anyone else for help. Not the stars, not charms, not rituals, not people, only you, my Lord. This is the heart of Ruqyah, relying completely on the Creator, cutting off all strings tied to creation. No Ruqyah works unless this belief is firm. No verse heals unless the heart is turned fully to the one who revealed it. That is why Al-Fatiha must be recited slowly, mindfully, and intentionally. The rest of the surah is a dua, asking for guidance on the straight path, a path free from misguidance and wrath. This is also part of healing, because Sihr and Jinn often target the heart and the mind, attempting to sway a person from clarity, from peace, from their deen. When you ask Allah for guidance while under the influence of these forces, you are asking to be pulled out of confusion, out of despair, back into light. This is why repeating Al-Fatiha 7 times, especially over water, or directly over oneself, is so effective. Each repetition peels back a layer of darkness. Each recitation is like pouring divine light into your soul. Blow into the water after reciting, drink from it. Wipe your face and body with it. Let it become part of your healing routine. The more consistent you are, the more you will begin to notice subtle shifts. The heaviness begins to lift. The whispers begin to quiet. Sleep returns. Anxiety weakens. This is not magic. This is the Qur'an doing what it was sent to do, heal. It's important not to rush or expect instant transformation. Ruqyah is not about speed, it's about sincerity and persistence. The one who recites with certainty, even if healing comes slowly, is always under Allah's care. And remember, you don't need a special setting. You can recite Al-Fatiha anywhere, at night before you sleep, in the early morning after Fajr, after Salah. When you feel tightness in your chest or heaviness in your thoughts, it is always there for you, memorized in your heart, easy on your tongue. You don't need to buy anything, travel anywhere, or rely on anyone. Just close your eyes, raise your hands, and let the words flow with conviction. Let the surah become your shield, your medicine, your spiritual anchor. Ayat al-Kursi is one of the most powerful verses in the entire Qur'an, and its status is not just symbolic,
It carries immense spiritual weight and protection. It is a verse that speaks entirely about Allah, His attributes, His power, His dominion, and His complete control over everything in existence. When you recite Ayat al-Kursi, you are proclaiming the greatness of your Lord, and in doing so, you push away the darkness of Sihr, Hasad, Jinn, and all forms of evil. It's not just a verse to memorize for reward. It is a shield that guides you, a fortress that surrounds you, and a declaration of who truly governs the heavens and the earth. The Prophet ﷺ told us that whoever recites Ayat al-Kursi after every obligatory prayer, nothing stands between them and paradise, except death. That is a heavy statement, but what does it show? That this verse is not only protective, it is transformational. It elevates your soul. It seals your salah with strength, and it reminds you 5 times a day of the one who has power over all things. The same hadith also tells us to recite Ayat al-Kursi before sleeping, and by doing so, a guardian from Allah remains with you, and no devil can come near you, until morning. This is not metaphor, it is literal. Shayateen are repelled by the truth contained in this verse, because it is a declaration that their influence, their whispers, and their traps have no real power in the presence of the one who never sleeps, nor slumbers. The verse begins with the words, Allahu la ilaha illa, huwa al-Qayyum. Allah, there is no deity except Him, the ever-living, the sustainer of all existence. These are not just introductions, they are affirmations. When you say them, you are reminding yourself that everything you fear, every source of harm, is under the control of this one being. The ever-living does not die, the sustainer does not forget. And so when you recite this verse, you are placing your entire being under the care of the one who sees all, hears all, and needs nothing in return. The verse then says, neither drowsiness overtakes him nor sleep. What kind of protector is more reliable than one who never tires, never forgets, never rests? The enemies of the unseen realm, those who work through Sihr or envy, they are weak compared to him. They tire, they plan, but their plans are nothing next to the protection that comes from the one who never rests. Next the verse declares, to him belongs whatever is in the heavens, and whatever is on the earth. This is total ownership. When you recite this, you are stating out loud that every force, every creation, seen or unseen, is owned by Him. There is no rogue energy, no magic, no entity that operates outside His will. And when harm is inflicted by the unseen, it is only by His permission, as a test, a trial, or a means to draw closer to Him. The next part of the verse says, who is it that can intercede with Him, except by His permission? This emphasizes that even the mightiest of jinn or magicians are powerless, without His decree. They cannot speak or act, unless He allows, and that should bring immense peace to the heart. The verse continues, He knows what is before them, and what will be after them, and they encompass not a thing of His knowledge, except for what He wills. This is a statement of absolute knowledge. While those who use black magic rely on secrets, symbols, illusions, and hidden meanings, Allah's knowledge encompasses all things, past, present and future. No matter how hidden the plot of Sihr may be, no matter how secretive the envy of others, Allah knows it in detail. And so when you recite Ayat al-Kursi with trust in Him, you are appealing to the one who already knows what is afflicting you, who already holds the keys to its removal. The final part of the verse says, His Kursi extends over the heavens and the earth, and their preservation does not tire Him, and He is the Most High, the Most Great. This is where you understand the vastness of His power. The Kursi, which is like a footstool compared to His throne, encompasses the entire creation, and if He can preserve all of existence without effort, then guarding you from the evils of Sihr, envy or jinn is nothing for Him. He is Al-Ali, the Most High, above all creation, and He is Al-Azim, the Most Great, whose greatness cannot be measured or imagined. So when you make a habit of reciting Ayat al-Kursi, after every salah, before sleep, when you feel afraid or uncertain, you are doing more than just remembering a verse. You are drawing a spiritual sword. You are surrounding yourself with divine light. You are declaring the absolute power of your Lord in the face of everything that seeks to harm you, disturb your peace, or shake your faith. Let it flow from your tongue with certainty. Let it settle in your heart with conviction. Let it settle in your heart with conviction. Let it be your shield every day and every night.